So I feel like on the spiritual level, all of us within us and spiritual beings, we are like these golden white lights, godlike beings. But all of these layers and layers have been put of us to bury that gold-like energy of us. So I feel like it's like dark layers. And so with my friend Marion, she's kind of like with each session, like I'm more and more layers of that darkness are being taken away. So then on the 5th of May 2019, last year, we did another liberation. So that was the liberation of the Archon. So as much as I understand, those are like the main demons ruling over the world. So I'm sure you've all seen it in cartoons, these images on the white shoulder. On the one shoulder you see an angel, on the other one you see a demon. So with this of the Archons, I felt like that devil was taken away from me. So with this liberation, I also felt like another white protection was put over me. And so whenever I do something good, I feel like those Archons, those demons are like, oh, she's doing something good, we can't influence her anymore, we can't go against her anymore. So I feel like that disturbance is gone, and I feel like the angels who are around me, they can work more with me, and once in a while they give me like a little sentence, or just like, and I'll be like, oh yes, that's from a very high light being that's talking to me, working with me. So like, just not having that negativity in my life. And then also that day she did the liberation of the death hormone. So what she explained to me, so another layer that has been put over us is that it's kind of called the death hormone. So like that and a lot of people experience before they die, like half a year before they die, they go through so much pain, and that's like something that has been put on us. So it's not actually meant to be like, the dying is not necessarily meant to be with so much suffering. So then she took that one also away from me, that layer of the death hormone. And then like after she left, I had to take a nap for like 2 hours, so it's kind of like sleep off all that stuff that was taken away from me. So like, yes. And then in August 2019, I started working with my homeopath. So here in Germany, homeopathy is a proper science, and there's a lot of knowledge behind it. So what I've heard, so like my homeopath, and so what she told me, they actually dedicate all the career just to homeopathy. That's how much is learned. There's so much to learn about homeopathy. So after and she's probably been like 10, 15, almost 20 years. She's been like a homeopath for like many years already, and she still goes like every year to continue to more classes and courses on it. So she constantly learns more and more and more. So like homeopathy, like there's so much knowledge that just keeps going down. And then the very first time I saw her, I felt like spiritually she had the right medicine for me. And now, almost a year later, I'm like, wow, I was totally right with that. Like, she's helped me so much. And then also behind it, I felt like this whole library of books behind her. So she also has to have a lot of knowledge for what she's doing, all the healing work she's doing. And also I've taken classes with her, so I know she knows a lot about nutrition, fasting. She has a lot of knowledge about different kinds of health modalities, and obviously also how the body works, so a lot of medical knowledge. So yeah, she's really good. And also what she told me, like she does Reiki, she believes in spirit world, she has like an understanding about spiritual things. So it's really important for me, just because I'm a very spiritual being, and emotions are like, I just feel the world through my emotions. So I need therapists who can relate to me on that kind of level, so I can feel like I can talk freely about it. So that has really helped, just having someone like that. And also homeopathy, depending on which potency you use, it works on the physical, emotional, and spiritual level. So it also works on different kinds of levels, like if you take the higher potencies. So that's kind of like, that has been really good. So then the very first time she gave me some homeopathy, like it was a very high potency. And that weekend, oh my goodness, so that's kind of when that stuff came up from that past relationship where I had such emotional dramatic experience, and so at the time I did the best I knew how to deal with all those traumatic emotions. I just slept them away. But what had happened, they were caught in my dreaming state, and that's why I had such bad insomnia. So that was like one reason for it. And then with the homeopathy, so that's something called, in homeopathy, it's called Erstverschlimmerung in German. So what that means, in the beginning, if it's the right homeopathic remedy, it gets worse and then it gets better. Or you can call like first there's a detox happening and then it heals off, but then it heals off completely, or like there's one layer of healing that happens. It's not like with drugs you just put like a bandage of it and just keeps going on, it gets worse. But with homeopathy, like it goes, and then there's like this healing of level that happening. So like it gets worse, and then like when that weekend, like I would like fall asleep, wake up, fall asleep, wake up, and I could just like feel all that stuff. Like there's the stuff happening from those past emotional dramas when I was like trying to sleep them off, and it was like flower bags filled with black energy, and like there was like a needle was put in it, and all that stuff was going. So that kind of like symbolized all the emotional drama that I had like stored in my subconscious mind, like in my sleeping consciousness, and that was like finally liberated. But it did take me a little bit longer till my insomnia was actually healed. But at least like I knew with homeopathy that was the right medicine for me to keep healing. So, and yeah, the homeopathy, like now, finally, I am actually starting to sleep through the night. I'm starting to wake up rested. So many times I would go to bed and I would wake up just as tired as I went to bed. That's how bad my insomnia was, and that happened to me so many times. It was pretty bad, and my homeopath, she said my nerves were, irritated. In the end of the day, what do I know what that really means? But in the end of the day, she had a diagnosis. What I needed to say, she was the first therapist who didn't look at me as if I was crazy when I was describing to her all my chronic problems. Many medical doctors, they look at me, they don't know what to say. They can't relate to the problem at all. They don't have the tools for it. So it was just like, I would just get so frustrated. And then holistic doctors or holistic therapists, like they could help me a little bit to a certain degree, but they couldn't really help me to the root cause. And with homeopathy, it's really like going to the root of the problem, because it works on physical, emotional, and spiritual levels. And maybe I was just trying. So yeah, that was just like amazing. And the homeopathy, I can tell you, it's helping me level out my hormones. My insomnia is getting better, and also like it's also helped me with a lot with the emotional pain with the loss of my pregnancies, my marriage, just like that grieving process. So like I definitely recommend homeopathy as like in addition to whatever you're doing. It can always, I think it's a great supplemental therapy to anything. It helps you on the emotional, physical level, and it's just kind of like, I just wish it was more practiced. And did you guys know there's even homeopathy for broken bones? My son broke his arm like 2 months ago, and I asked my homeopath what I should give him. And you don't know what to give them. I didn't even know that exists. So I'm sure there's a lot of more homeopathic things you can give in complementary to whatever you're already doing. So it's just like, yeah. And then, do you know what my homeopath does? She only talks to me. That's all she does. And she knows what to give to me. But they take into consideration so many different things. Like I was reading this book on homeopathy. It was like it was about fever. Is it wet? Is it cold? Is the child angry, emotional? I don't know, just like they take so many different things into consideration. The character of the person. Do you like sweet things, sour things? Do you get angry easily? Or like what are the symptoms? It's like they take so much into consideration. I'm like, this is proper diagnosing. Like to me, this is like proper art of diagnosing. They really look into all areas of your life, and then many times she'll be like, so what's going on right now? And then like I'll be sitting there just talking I'm going on. So it's like at the same time it's like talking about stuff and just having someone listen to you, and just like, I'm sorry, but I get really frustrated with Western medicine. They don't even see 5 minutes and they're supposed to give you a diagnosis. I'm sure the doctors and nurses themselves are super frustrated and totally overworked because they can't take care of the patients properly, because they can only give so little time to each patient, and they themselves are so overworked, and so many times the tools they have with medications are not real solutions either. So I'm just like kind of annoyed with Western medicine, and I just wish there was more like a fusion between holistic and Western medicine and take the best of both worlds. I really hope that that's going to be the future, and they're going to take more into consideration emotional, spiritual aspects of our bodies and problems than just only the physical aspect, because we're more than just flesh and bone. So then, so last year here in Germany, our summers are not long. So last year, I think like July, August, so it was hot for 2 months. And during that time, I was just dizzy the whole time. So that was also like a problem that had gone on for many, many years. Like I would just get dizzy, constantly be dizzy. So, and that was like another symptom that I got through. And I think part of it is I didn't have enough electrolytes in my body, but then also like somewhere there's like this, I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, there's also something that was like wrong in my body, so a different therapist would help me with that. But like, anyway, who knows? I'm not a medical person, so I don't really understand all my problems. I just know I'm on the right path, and I'm with therapists who actually understand all the stuff and help me. So like I was just dizzy for the whole time, like for 2 months straight. I don't even know how I survived, how I went to work, how I actually did anything. It was pretty bad. And then plus on that, I was constantly tired. I still had my fatigue, insomnia, and I was dizzy. And then the third thing, I was like, so many times I was just sitting there paralyzed from all the pain from the pregnancy loss, and then my marriage not working out. So I was just like paralyzed. I couldn't move from all that pain happening. So then I got another revision from my friend Marion. It's called there's a whole set of different things that you do. So it's kind of like to help you liberate from addictions. So the way she explains to me, which makes a lot of sense to me, is that there's like these, I don't know what you call them, low entities, demons. Anyway, so they're like, or the addiction entities. So they're like kind of like passed on from generation to generation to generation, and sometimes they skip a generation, because that's kind of like, I don't know if you know families with addictions, so it's kind of like it's passed on. So yeah, so and that kind of like that theory just makes a lot of sense to me, because I just see like problems that I see like in my ancestry that I have them too. So just like made a lot of sense. And then we did the first set of addiction liberation, and that really made such a big difference. So the first one was we have like these different spiritual bodies around us. So one of them is called the emotional body. So we have like all these scars on them. So like your personal scars, and I'm suspecting that also ancestral stuff is that. So then she did like the soothing of those scars. So first on the emotional body, then on the mental body. So that was the mental body, that was the one. So that's like your thoughts. You know, sometimes you keep thinking the same thing over and over again. So when she did that one, that's when I experienced so much liberation. So I think on that mental body, I had a lot of scars. And then she also did the dematerialization of the addiction entities. I think of the main addiction entities. So with this first set, all of a sudden I wasn't sitting there paralyzed by all this pain of the pregnancy losses anymore. I tell you, it was just horrible. I couldn't function anymore. I couldn't take care of my kid. It was just really, really bad. And then with that liberation, all of a sudden, the pain wasn't so bad anymore. I could function, I could do stuff, I could take care of my child. It was so much better. So that's what a big difference it made. And then also that same time, we also did the liberation of the addiction of Verlust, losing stuff. So like if you're scared of losing, so that like also healed off a lot of different things. And then in last year, 31st of October 2019, we did the liberation of fear and food addiction. So why did I do the food addiction? My son is really, really addicted to sugar. So I just really worry about his health and stuff like that. And with a little kid, how much can you really argue with them? I was just like, so yeah, and then I definitely felt like things have been shifting to a better place since then. So that's really been a big difference. So then we also did the one, so I think like my biggest addiction is the addiction to trying to control things. And my suspicion that a lot of Germans actually have this addiction, because kind of like, I don't know how much you know about the Germans, but like we like things to be a certain way, and there's only one way, it's the proper way, and there's no other way. So that's kind of like a German thing, and I am like that, so that's why I can say it. And I just know if it's not done the way I think it should be, internally, I feel like the world is going to end. That's how bad it is. And you try to control everything around you, you try to control the people around you. And at the end of the day, there's only so much we can control. But it was just causing me so much anxiety. And I've been aware of since I was a teenager. I tried to pray, I tried to meditate, I tried to do all these things. There was nothing I could do about it. But then with this liberation from my friend Marion, it was like another layer, like this addiction of control was taken away from. Since then, my life has gotten so much better, so much more liberation. Like I'm not trying to control things anymore so much. I'm getting more to a space of like, there's so much I can do. There's still a lot I can do and still influence, but there's also things will take their course. It will happen, and there's only so much you can do. That like the universe has like its ways of doing things, and sometimes things just need to happen. It's just like my marriage fair. I think that was inevitable. We tried, like I was trying to control to make it work. I was trying to make it work, but it was not working. So I was causing so much suffering to myself. We, both of us, were causing so much suffering for ourselves, more than we would have needed to. Because I was trying to control it, but it was just not working. So like that's, like, you understand what I mean? With having this control issue, you try to hold on to things that are actually not really the best too much. Instead of just letting God and just the universe do its thing, and just, so yeah, now it's a lot easier to go with the flow. Definitely. Yes, we also did the liberation of gaming, so that was also a really good one. Anyway, I think nowadays, so yeah, that was really good. And then also what we did, which also made a big difference, was on this year, the 11th of January 2020, we did the liberation of the influence of the 12 blood lineages. So that was also really interesting experience. So like my friend Marion, she was like telling, like, you know, my son and me, we always do all the liberations at the same time, and she was telling my son, to sit down, and then somehow she mentioned the word mom. So like she was kind of talking to me like, your mom, oh, sit down next to your mom or something like that. And then I was looking at because this one, it's kind of given over your eyes. How do you say you look at each other's eyes, and then so that's kind of like something, a layer that they put over our eyes. And then like I said, I had that, I felt like I was seeing the Queen Mom, like of England, the Queen, and I felt like this red entity, really evil entity, came behind her, came out, and it was come out happy and liberated, because like it didn't have to hide between the Queen anymore. It was like, look at me, how evil I am. I know, it's not that Queen Mom who's doing all this stuff. It's me. I'm the one who's working through her. And also he was like it was really good for his ego. He could come out and be like, oh, look at me. I'm the one. I'm the powerful one here. I'm the one who's doing all this evil in the world. And I don't know. And also he just felt like that he was kind of like saying that he was about to leave this world anyway, because he couldn't take all the good on the world anymore. I might be reading a little bit more into that than it really was, but I did definitely feel like this red entity coming out of the Queen a little bit out, and I just felt like another layer of manipulation was taken away from us. And what really happened, my son, I really have a tough time with him because he doesn't like listening, so that's a really ongoing issue. We're still working on it, but like before, I always just felt like I could tell like 10 times. I could tell him, brush your teeth, put on your pajamas in the mornings, go to school. Like it was just like always like just like everyday things was such like exhausting. He just didn't listen. I was like losing my mind, and I would get like super mad. And then once we did that liberation, I felt like he started listening more, cooperating, and I started getting less angry. So I think like just taking that, like it was like a lot of like negative energy influence was taken away from us again. So that I could tell like immediately, I could tell a difference again. And then something else we did in this March, 13th of March, we did the liberation of sex addiction, because nowadays that is a huge, I mean, we're all constantly bombarded with like advertisement, like that is like, then there's porn going on as well. It's just like there's a lot of like not so good things happening in the sex world, let's put it that way. So I just felt like that was like something I wanted to do too, because who knows how much we're all influenced by it, probably more than we're aware of it. Even if we don't necessarily participate in all of those things, but just like there's like human manipulation working on that area, so I definitely felt like I wanted to do it. So then when I got that done, I felt like all of this liberation of all these children, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but there's like thousands of years, I don't know how many years, but like thousands and thousands of children have been sexually treated badly in a sexual way, you say, raped and all kinds of like, and killed, and all kinds of stuff has been happening, and now it's coming out more and more about that. So that's been like going on for like a very long time, and I think in like all countries. And then also now, but at the same time, they're being liberated. A lot of those places where they've been like captured, like kids are being liberated. So as I got the liberation of the sex addiction, I actually felt children being liberated and laughing and being happy again. So it was interesting. I actually thought getting this liberation of the sex addiction, I thought it would be like probably very dramatic, like a lot of, who knows, because it's been such like so much negative. Anyway, I was kind of expecting some pretty dramatic stuff happening emotionally, like who knows, but it was really interesting. I actually felt like how children being liberated. So I was expecting once I got that layer taken away from me, I was able to experience that liberation with the children at the same time. That's just my take on it. And then also something else my friend did with me, so like she felt like, because like something I've been struggling with for like all my life is just kind of like not feeling worthy, being super sensitive, taking everything super personal. So like just like that's been like emotionally like a lot of my things. But then I just felt like, and then something else she did for me, she released like a shock that was done to my DNA, and I felt like that was like another step towards liberation. So that really helped. And then just recently we did like another one. It was another part of the whole addiction thing. So then this was like, so the other one, like the first one we did was like the smoothing of the emotional and mental body, and then this one was like a cleaning of the spiritual and mental body. So that's kind of like the next step. So that was also really, really good. So we just did that recently on the 9th of May 2020. And it was also, that also has like, okay, let's be honest. In the beginning, I kind of regretted it because a lot of stuff came out. Because before that, I was already in a very stable place because all the other liberations had been really good. Homeopathy was working. I was in a pretty stable area. I was exercising regularly. But then I do this liberation, all of a sudden I'm like, all this stuff is going with so much anger, depression, suicidal thoughts. What else? You know, everything was just coming out, and I was just like, I couldn't exercise. It was just like improper emotional detox. So that went on for like the first 4 days. So that was like proper, and then there's also like this feeling of doom and gloom. There is no future for the, like there's no brightness in the future. It's just everything is doom and gloom. So like that also was like taking away from me. And then once that initial like, how do you call it, emotional detoxing happened, I just felt like I just feel like I'm getting closer and closer to my goal of inner peace and happiness. So I'm more connected to emotions of love. What do you call it? Just like this inner knowing. It's just like more connected to, in the end of the day, I want to get to. It's like being closer to God, inner peace, happiness, love. So that was like really good. And something like I also felt like that happened with my son. I felt like a click made. And I feel like it's also like easier for him to concentrate because he has concentration problems in school too. And incorporates. I feel like something happened in my son too. And now I feel like I don't get as angry as I used to with my son. I feel like I come more from a place of love. Something that my son said like 1 or 2 days, he was like, "Mom, you still love me even though I'm so naughty, like I tease you all the time." And I was like, "Do you think it's a good thing?" He's like, "Yes, I think, Mom, that's a good thing." So he's just like really surprised how I'm like able to love him way more. And the way I want to parent is, I want to parent as a way of coming from love. And ideally I like it to be a relationship of like, we listen to each other, we are considerate of each other's needs, we talk about things, we find compromises together. And it's not like trying to constantly either is my will stronger or are you stronger? Like, whose will can we go through? That's kind of how it feels at the moment. That's kind of like, it always feels like a battle of, well, who's stronger, whose will is stronger? And I kind of like to get to a place of like, we actually work together, we talk about things. My son, one of his needs, he needs to go out, he needs to run around, he experience nature, talk with his friends. It's just like, he needs to just run crazy. And, you know, like just kind of like that we take care, like, so I feel like with all these liberations, I'm getting closer and closer to my goal of inner peace and happiness. And so I definitely wanted to say, it really, really, I am really amazed how far I've come now. I'm not an emotional wreck anymore. And my emotional pain has been healing and healing and healing. And there's only very little left. And it's just like, it's healing with all these different modalities that I've been using, and now I'm actually able to do more of what I want, which is like do more exercise, more meditation, And also I'm able to be more present for my son. I'm not constantly running around like super tired like a zombie. And if you're tired, everything is horrible, everything is difficult. So I don't have that anymore. So I'm pretty amazed, and I'm really grateful to all, like to God guiding me, and just like that I've been able to heal so much. Yeah, I still have more healing to do. My chronic pains and my pain in my throat, it's still, my ears and my throat, it's still there, but it's those pains, I mean, they've never, like, they've, on a scale of 1 to 10, they're maybe like 0.5, 1, 2. You could kind of live with low-grade pains, but try living on not getting enough sleep and being tired every single day. That is a huge issue. So that at least I've been able to heal that, and I know my homeopathy, she will help me with the pains, and she's always like asking, so did it work? Is it getting better? So she's always like looking for the next one that, like, she's very determined to help me, and I think she'll get me there. So it's definitely been, I'm really grateful that I found the different healing modalities that work for me. So I'd like to wish you all the best.